winner of American Idol 2010 is... Dewyze!
Oh, boy. And here he is, your American Idol. Please welcome Dewyze.
I love that sign. That sign is awesome. Dewyze is the bomb.
That's a new one. That's a new one. I heard that one.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Boy, just take us back to that moment. That looks like a killer. You know,
You
when
really
Ryan's
look
up
like,
there and
I thought you were going to faint.
Me
he's
too.
going to tell you who the winner is, and he takes that pause.
Yeah.
What's going through your head?
Well, it's like everything that leads up to it. You know, you put so much work and time into the whole thing. And, you know, Crystal's so amazing that it's just, you're up there, and at that moment you think in your head beforehand, this is what I'll say if I win, this is what I'll say if I don't. And then he says your name, and it's just, everything goes blank.
Do you put it into your mind that I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose? That way, if you did lose, then it wasn't a big deal? Like, that's what we do at the Emmys.
No, but I mean, definitely every week you say to yourself, anything could happen. I mean, you definitely have to have that mentality because everybody's so talented. So any week, anything can happen. People have good weeks, people have bad weeks. So it kind of switches around a lot. But, you know, every week I just said to myself, if I could just get through this week and do the best I can.
Well, that's the way to take it, I guess, you know,
Yeah.
one week at a time. But you worked in a paint store in Prospect, Illinois,
I did,
right?
yeah.
Mount Prospect.
Yeah.
Right outside of Chicago. Is that
Yep.
fairly close? Yeah. And did you sing in the store?
All the time.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah. When I'd show up in the morning, I'd start belting out things in the back, and they'd be like, come on, Lee, we got to get to work. And I'd have my guitar in the back. It was
And did the
always.
customers say, hey, you've got a pretty good voice? Did
yeah.
anybody ever say, why did you try out for American Idol?
You know, people told me that for a while before I did. You know, you
Really?
should, oh, yeah, try out for American Idol. You should go out for American Idol. And I was always kind of in that mentality, oh, I'm going to do this on my own, I'm going to do this on my own. But then I realized that, you know, trying out for American Idol and going through that process is doing it on your own, you know?
still doing it on your own.
And it's a platform you can use.
Sure.
And so, I mean, they were amazing to me. Everybody there was
But you
great.
went to the audition, and isn't it interesting that you wound up sitting right next to...
Crystal Bowersox.
yeah.
yeah, Bowersox.
I saw that video. I guess
Yeah.
I had forgotten. You know, I watched all the auditions, but until they showed that in the flashback of the two of you sitting next to each other, I had forgotten that moment.
Yeah, it was crazy because we had like a huge, long conversation well before we ever got to any of these rounds, Hollywood Week or anything. Like, we first met at our first audition, and we were talking about music and everything, and we kind of split our ways when we saw each other again in Hollywood Week, and then it just
You were
kinda,
still pulling
yeah.
for each
And then
other
you
all
were
that
still
time.
standing together when they announced the winner.
Yeah,
you know?
it was
Wow.
a weird moment.
Let's talk about the show. How did the judges seem to you? Did they confuse you at times?
They
Yeah.
Or
confused
did they
me.
actually help?
They can be very confusing, especially when you know, some people try to listen to what they say and take it to heart, and they go and do exactly that. But me, I was more focused on taking, you know, the good they said and the bad they said and kind of finding a middle ground, because there were weeks where I'd have a great week, and, you know, I didn't want that to get to my head too much. And then there's weeks where I'd have a bad week, and I'd be like, I don't want to get myself down about it.
Right.
So I would kind of just stick to what I was doing, but also take what they said into consideration, because
Sure.
it can't help. You know?
You were consistently good, but there came a point where you seemed to start actually believing that you might win this thing. Do you remember that moment where it seemed like suddenly you're like, wait a minute, wait just a minute, this
Yeah.
could happen?
Well, when there's a lot of us, you don't really focus on, I mean, you always have winning in the back of your mind. But when there's a lot of you, it's just really hard to concentrate on imagining yourself in that finale. So as the people, you know, were getting eliminated, it got more and more real to the point where, hey, you know, the finale's coming up in a couple of weeks. And so I just kind of said, I'm going to let everything go, lose the nerves, lose all that stuff, and just
Yeah,
play.
people noticed a big change in you in the final drive that last month, you know?
Yeah.
Looked like you had gained more confidence.
I guess, I mean, in a sense I did, only because I wasn't worried so much about anything other than I'm going to get up there, have fun, and do my thing, and that's kind of like...
Now, is it our imagination, or did you really feel that Simon was pulling for you?
You know, I think that he believed in me from the beginning. I do think that because he kind of had words of encouragement for me right out of the gate. And so, you know, as days went by and weeks went on, he would make little comments to me that I didn't really understand. And then as the season went on, it kind of made a little more sense to me. So,
right.
I mean, I think he was on my side, but I mean, I had my weeks where he let me have it.
Did you get very nervous that because Simon liked you, people would not vote for you just to get back at him? You know how people like to be contrary to Simon. It's like they want to do the opposite of what he says.
Yeah,
so,
no, they do. They do. I think that when he would say something to me, like I said, I try not to take it to heart. So when he would be like, you know, that was a great performance, I wouldn't be like, yes, you know, it was just kind of like, all right, and now I have another week to go. So it was kind of like that for me. I didn't play into it too much.
And of all the professional singers that came in and did a little mentoring for you, which one impressed you the most?
Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was amazing. You know, he was, and you know, and the thing is, he's such a nice guy, too. Like, he was real intimidating out of the gate. When I walked in, he's sitting at the piano. You're like, oh boy, you know, what are you gonna do? And
You're a paint guy from
I know, that's what I'm saying. And
You're sang in the paint store. What does he want?
And so when I went into the room, he was just totally like a friend of mine right out of the gate. And he worked with us. He really sat down and came to our recording sessions, everything. It was just so involved in what we were doing.
He loves musicians.
It was like a real mentor session.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you had a wonderful run there, and now you're the champ. You're the American Idol.
I know.
What are you going to sing for us when we come back?
I'm going to do my acoustic version of Beautiful Day.
There you go.
Tomorrow on Live, a performance by Crystal Bowersox, the American Idol runner-up.